What's good, everybody? I'm Rune, and welcome to my Dislyte Esper review series. This is a new series that will consist of a basic explanation of every Esper in Dislyte. Each video will serve as a beginner-friendly introduction to an Esper's skills, stat lines, resonances, and ascensions. The main goal of these videos is to inform you on what these characters do so that you know what content they're intended to be used in. I'll make an effort to also include the best suitable builds for these characters so that you know how to start building these units as soon as possible. With that being said, let's begin with the very first unit you get upon starting the game. Brynn is the main protagonist of the game's initial story upon release. Having awoken to her Esper ability shortly after Sieg was kidnapped, she is rescued by Dislyte and joins the Esper Union as an ops chief. However, for a gacha game protagonist, she kinda falls flat when it comes to overall longevity as a unit. Taking a look at her resonances and ascensions will show you just what I mean in a second, but let's first look at her base and max level stats. Brynn's stats are as basic as they come for your generic 3-star unit. Having average base speed and decent attack numbers at max level, progressing through the story should not come as an issue while using her. Overall, these stats should be sufficient enough to help you clear all of easy and normal story mode with her, assuming you max invest or at least invest up to level 50. As for her skills, here's a look into what this Valk is going to be doing for you during the story. Her first skill, Cold Edge, attacks one enemy twice, and the damage per hit is equal to 50% of her attack. The entire instance has a 30% chance to inflict speed down for 2 turns. The bonus effect that you get for maxing out the Embilimon on this skill is that the trigger chance for the skill down to be inflicted is increased up to 50%. Her second skill, Rock and Roll, grants attack up to all allies for 2 turns. And the bonus effect that you get for maxing out the Embilimon on this skill is the cooldown is reduced by 1 turn. Her final skill, Advent of the Goddess, deals 250% attack damage to one enemy and inflicts freeze for 1 turn. The bonus effect for maxing out the Embilimon on this is increasing the damage from 250 to 300, plus reducing the cooldown of the ability by 1 turn. Her ascensions aren't anything to write home about though. A1 and A2 gives her flat stat increases, while A3 changes her S3 to inflict defense down on top of the freeze. A4 just gives her more speed, A5 is more attack, and A6 gives her a little bit more accuracy so that she can inflict that freeze and defense down. Moving on to her resonances, Brynn has some of the worst Resos in the game. These barely contribute to her kit or add anything new or significant to help her out as a unit. The only notable one being that her R4 does an extra 10% damage to incapacitated targets. Majority of these are just blatant stat increases, notably the R1 having an extra 10% final damage on the S1, and that's pretty much it. It's going to be super easy to R6 this unit, being that she's a 3-star. You'll probably be able to get her within your first 50 pulls. R6ing her shouldn't really be an issue, but it's not like any of these Resos are worth being excited for. And last but not least, moving on to her Divident, if Brynn's speed is above the target she's fighting, her S1 will get a 6% damage increase, and at D6, she will gain a base stat increase of 20% to attack, defense, and HP, and the S1 damage increase will be upped from 6 to 20%. So overall, again, nothing really game-changing here, but these damage numbers are nice to have in the long run. Moving on to her relics, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. War, Fiery, or Wind, Fiery. This unit isn't really going to be doing anything substantial outside of story, but if you want a good relic set for the story, Wind, Fiery, or War and Fiery. You can either build her extremely speedy so that she can continuously keep buffing people, or you can build her with as much attack as possible. I see people building her with 4k attack. I see people building her with 280 speed. It's really just hey, do you want to give your attack a buff to your main damage dealer first, or do you want her to be the main damage dealer? If you want to focus on like some memey speed clear stuff, I know some people mess around with Ocean, I see some people messing around with Recurve, but ultimately you want to build her either as fast as possible or you want to give her as much attack as possible. So look for those attack substats and speed substats, and you should have a speedy Valkyrie on your team. And that about does it for Brynn. I appreciate each and every one of you that have made it to the end of the video. I plan on doing a video for every single Esper, and I know there's a lot of Espers in this game, and it's going to take a lot of time, but I'm here to make sure that new players can understand what these units do and push them in the right direction to start building these units better. Dislyte is an amazing game, and I absolutely love every single thing about it except for PvP, and I really want people to experience this game a lot more. So next week we will be doing a video on the second unit that you get, Drew. Be sure to stay tuned for that. I'm Rariroon, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later!